Hello, everybody from WCA Earth Science. I'm actually here to help you out with a portfolio in Unit 2, Lesson 12, called Climate and Weather. What's the difference? So there's a few different parts to this portfolio, so I want to make sure you kind of know what to do. I am here on slide 2 of 3 in your lesson viewer. So the first thing it says is it wants you to download this work file so you can put all your information into it. This is the first modification. So instead of downloading the work file, I'm actually going to have you go to my website to get this information. Okay, so let me take you there real quick. All right, so remember that you can access my website through that push pin icon at the top of the screen, top right corner, where you can get access to all of our section message boards, and one of them has the link to the Earth and Space Science website. When you first log in, there's just a picture of a bee, and it's my homepage where it says WCA Science, but you got to go to the top to the Earth and Space Science tab, and that's going to bring you to our class homepage. When you scroll down here, you'll see live lesson recordings, you see portfolios, and this is in the portfolios. So sorry for a moment, everything's loading up. Don't have video here yet. That's what I'm currently recording. But here is the thing that you should be filling out. So this is your work file. I've made it a little bit easier to use. So this is going to download as a Word document for you. You can pop this guy out and you can, move me over, you can either open with Google Docs and edit in Google Docs, which is fine. And once you're done editing in Google Docs, you can then download it as a Word file. Or you can right away just go to download and it will automatically download it as a Microsoft Word file for you. Now, there's a reason why I've done this, because it was kind of a difficult thing to edit before, and it was a bit disorganized, so I try to make it a little bit more organized for you. So on the Word file, you're going to see that you have task 1, task 2, and task 3 to complete. So the one thing I changed on here is I made task 2 a little bit better organized, so you can just fill out this data table rather than just kind of writing things in just a very random place. Also, I know that when you use PDFs, sometimes they don't save properly, and then you can lose your information, which is really frustrating. So this enables you to then not lose that information, which is pretty important. So let's go through the 3 different tasks that you need to do. Okay, I'm going to go back to just our regular lesson viewer. So task 1, it says to open this document from the National Weather Service on weather maps. Read sections A and B carefully and then answer questions on your Word file. So that's pretty self-explanatory. When you do that, let's see if I have that one opened here. One sec. Let's see. I believe that is, I have way too many things opened. Nope. This is it. It will actually open up this document here. And you're going to read parts A, the history behind weather map, and part B, how do weather maps help meteorologists. And then in your student guide, you're just going to answer these questions. Question 1, when did the first weather map come into being? I should probably have entered here. Question 2, in order to make a weather map, what process was followed? Question 3, what problems were encountered with the early use of weather maps? Question 4, weather maps are the most valuable tool to a meteorologist. Why is that? And question 5, today's weather observations are taken from thousands of locations. What then happens to the information? So it's just kind of like a reading comprehension part. Just for my benefit, when you're doing this, it's very nice if as you're typing in your answer, you just kind of type it in there or whatever, it's nice for me if you can also then highlight that. It's not necessary, but I find it way easier when I'm grading. Otherwise, everything kind of blends in with each other. So if you can highlight your answers, I would really appreciate it. Okay. So that one's a pretty simple section. Question 2, it wants you to practice reading map station symbols. Okay. So basically, it asks you to learn a little bit about how these symbols, what they mean and what they're showing you, and it gives you a few websites. So when I go back into your lesson viewer, it gives you like 3 different websites to kind of give you some information about that. So let me go into those real quick here. Here we go. So one of them is from National Weather Service. And as you kind of see, it gives you an example of what these look like, that this little circle indicates the amount of sky cover that's available. This one is telling you wind direction and wind speed, sea level pressure, pressure trend. Is it dropping? Is it rising? What the current weather is like, the temperature, and the dew point. And then it gives you a key. There's 3 red dots here, so then it's rainy, light, and moderate, right? Temperature and dew point, pretty much just the numbers there. The wind here with a little hash mark tells you the direction, and also it tells you the speed. So this is wind blowing from the northeast because the little flag is in the northeasterly direction. So this example is wind coming from the northwest. There's 2 little lines on there. So the 2 little lines on there tells us that a full line is 10 and then a half line is 5. So the 2 little ones would be 10 plus 5, or in this case, 15. Okay? If there were 2 10s on there, then it would be 25. If there's a flag, it means 50. So you add those together to get the total wind speed, and that is in the unit of knots. KTS, knots, okay? And then, let's see, sky cover. When we look at sky cover, it tells you, is it clear? Are there a few clouds? Is it scattered clouds? Is it partly cloudy? Is it mostly cloudy? Is it overcast? Or, is the data missing or you can't see it? Okay. So that kind of gives you some information about, how to read the sample, the station plots. There's a couple other ones where it tells you kind of the same information. And again, this kind of breaks it down a little bit more. This one's from a website at University of Wisconsin. And here, if you look at the wind speed, it kind of gives you like more information, right? It's not just telling you how to read it, but you can match it up. So if it looks like this, it's 8 to 12 miles per hour, right? So it kind of, and again, the weather symbols, amount of precipitation, sky cover. So it's just kind of a key to help you out a little bit. So when we go back to our picture, we can kind of look at this key, right? We can find out what's the temperature, what's the dew point, what's the cloud cover, what's the wind speed, wind direction, what does the weather symbol mean, and what's the pressure? That's what we need to look at here. So let's look at the first one, temperature and dew point. Let's go back to our little cheat sheet to see what that means. Okay, so temperature was the top number. This is a little bit, we had this other one, I thought it was a little bit easier to see, but temperature is that top number, dew point is the bottom number, right? So for this one, temperature is 55, dew point is 47. Okay, so that's the first part for picture 1. So your advantage of watching this video is you're going to get one of these, help on one of these. Cloud cover. Well, it's completely black, so let's look and see what that means on our sheet, okay? Sky cover, pretty much think I know this one, but it's overcast is what it's saying. So according to this one, cloud cover here means it's overcast. Okay, wind speed, that's the flags. So here we have wind speed, which tells us, remember, each long line is 10 and each short line is 5. So when we go to the picture, looks like we just have a single short line, right? The long line is missing. There's nothing at the top. So it's a single short line. So I would say that that means it's 5 knots. You just put a 5 in there. Wind direction, straight up, coming from the north. Weather symbol. We have like a weird little thing that has an arrow on it. So let's go down and see what that weird little thing with the arrow means in our key. Okay, so there's a dot on the top. It means rain or thunder with rain, thunder with snow, or thunder with no precipitation. So let's see what our picture shows. Looks like thunder with no precipitation. So that's what our weather symbol means. And then pressure. What's our key for pressure? According to this, that's that number at the bottom here. Oh, excuse me, that's the number at the top. The number at the top is pressure, the bottom number is pressure trend. So if I look at pressure, there's just one number, so it's 998. That's millibars. So we just did like symbol A. You guys need to do symbols B and C still. Okay? So not too bad. Not too bad. The last section here, task 3, let's go back to our overall lesson. It asks you to click on this wonder map. So when you click on it, it's going to bring you to your local city, or it's actually just going to bring you to Wisconsin. And if it doesn't know your location, then you need to search in here for like your nearest station, or you can search for your zip code or whatever. So what I'm going to say is what you're going to do is you're going to zoom out by scrolling on your mouse until you find your city, okay? Wherever that happens to be, the nearest city to you. Say you're in Anago. You can see Anago here. Then you're going to take a screenshot here. And on my computer, I just hit the Alt key and the print screen key at the same time to take a screenshot. Hopefully you know how to do screenshots on your computer. Usually it's the same way on all computers, Alt and print screen. When you do that, you get a screenshot. And then if I go back to this document, I'm just going to click right here in the space. And I'm going to hit Control V to paste. Oh, I got my picture in there. All right, it's beautiful. I look so like in pain in that picture too. So that's kind of funny. But yeah, in the middle of talking. So you can also click on this, ladies and gentlemen. And like if I double click on it and I go to the top and hit crop, then let's see, crop it. I'm just going to crop me out and the side out and everything else out that I don't want in there. I'm just going to focus on just the weather map itself. And then if I hit crop again, then everything else goes away. Okay. Then I want you to draw an arrow to your city. You might not find your actual city on there. So if that's the case, draw an arrow to the nearest city to you. Okay. So if I insert or I hit draw at the top here, I can just use like a pen. And let's see if I can do this. To Anago right there. Here's my, ooh. Okay. So now I've drawn the picture. It's like a little shady. I don't like how it's doing that. Do I turn it off? Okay, I'm sorry. I got to go back to select now, I think. There we go. Now I got the arrow. See, Microsoft Word's kind of cool. Now it says use the information provided on the weather station model for your city from the map you created. Write a summary of your weather today. Be sure to include information by the model such as wind speed, direction, temperature, precipitation, cloud cover, dew point, and pressure. Well, I got some news for you. The weather map's a little bit different. So instead of actually using the weather symbols, although you can see temperature is 43 and wind direction, it doesn't really work that way on here. So you click on your city. I'm going to close all this over here on the side. Okay, I don't know why this is being so funky. There we go. Let's do that. I'm just going to scroll over a little and click on the city. You can see this information is actually just listed in a box. So it'll tell you, wind visibility. It tells you pressure, precipitation, humidity, dew point, temperature, wind direction and speed from the east-southeast, 7 miles per hour. So you don't have to actually interpret the weather station model for this particular city. All you need to do is get this information from here and then just list it in that section. Okay. Now, notice this is not Anago, but it's the closest weather station to Anago. So you don't necessarily have one directly in your city. You're going to have to find the one that's closest to you. You can zoom in a little bit closer, though, if you notice. If I zoom in, sometimes I can get one that's a little bit closer. So we have one in Appleton here. That's my town. That's my jam. Let's try that again. There we go. So I would say, oh, it's, 45 degrees in Appleton with a southwest wind at 6 miles per hour, gusting to 14. It is 23 degrees dew point, the humidity of 41%. Okay. So that's kind of the information you're going to put in that question. Okay. And that, everybody, is all that you need to do for this particular portfolio. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. If you have questions or concerns or there's something you don't understand, please let me know. Otherwise, you guys have a fabulous day and good luck.